That is the basic meaning of AI. Anything that a human being used to do, if used to drive a car, because a human being could drive it now, you don't need a human being to do it. If you need a human being to anything else, if you're sick and you go to the hospital and you need a human being to look at you, now you don't need a human being to do that. The next question is, what is human being going to do? Well, I'll let you think about that. Whenever somebody asks me what AI is, I try to break it down into two words, the A and the I. I don't start with the A first, I start with the I. What does the I mean, everybody? Intelligence. Who created intelligence? Don't think about AI. Just think like when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks to Adam and all of that. Who created intelligence there? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So there is no talking about artificial intelligence without talking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when you hear about AI, don't start with the A, because when you start with the A, then we start thinking like, oh, Muslims shouldn't think about it, or we shouldn't be doing it. Start with the I. The I is intelligence. And the intelligence is where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks to Adam alayhi salatu salam, and he asks the angels, and he says like, okay, all of these things, tell me what they are. And the angels don't know what that is. And the only person who knows is Adam alayhi salatu salam. That is the meaning of intelligence. So when you think about AI, it's about making something know something. Who is the first person that made any of us know anything is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when we're talking about this field, think about it as natural as like you're learning any other part of Islam. Because that's where intelligence is. If we don't have intelligence, then there's nothing we can do as Muslims. This is why you have to think about AI, because the second part of it is intelligence. The first part, we can come to that. And what does it mean for something to be artificial? It just means it's something you and I made. There is two types of intelligence. There is one a human being can make. There is one Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made. But we cannot come to the one a human being made if we don't start with the one Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made. So think about artificial intelligence as human beings trying to do something like that. If we all say like, okay, I'm not going to do anything about artificial intelligence, I'm going to let somebody else do it. You've seen that when human beings try to do something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has done and they don't follow the path of Allah, they always make mistakes. If we Muslims say, okay, I'm not going to do this, my kid is not going to do this, we're not even going to think about it, then somebody else will think about it. Then somebody else will do it. Then somebody else will tell us how to do it. This is why I want us, every Muslim, everybody, to be involved. What it means to be involved is tonight, download ChatGPT on your phone. Tonight, open up ChatGPT on your laptop. Tonight, say, what is this ChatGPT everybody is talking about? And just open it. What I mean by open it, I'm going to show us what that means. It just means just open your computer and just type this. This is all ChatGPT is. It's this blank window, it's this blank canvas that you can ask any question to. If you feel lazy to type or you're just tired of typing, just like what I've done, you can speak to it. This is that tool. Tonight, open it up and see what it does. If we are not playing with it and looking at what it does, then somebody else will be doing that for us as Muslims. This is why we have to look into this. This is why we have to play with it. Maybe about 1 billion people use this every day. Maybe 800 million people. 800 million people every day are using this. How many of them will be Muslims? A lot. So if you're not using it, then we are like missing out a point there. I hope that's like just passes the message across. What I want everybody to do after this talk is really just to be involved in this thing. If we're not looking at artificial intelligence, then we're looking at natural intelligence, which is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created. As Muslims, that's what we're learning every day. How to pray, how to do everything, the fiqh of this, the fiqh of that. That is natural intelligence Allah has given us. Artificial AI is not very different from that. So I don't think of it like, oh, it's just one thing or another. It's just the continuation of the same thing. Artificial intelligence, as our brothers read for us, is the ability to make a computer do what a human being used to do. If you go into your car and you start driving, and we don't want a human being to drive, what do we need? We need artificial intelligence. It will go in, It will look at when I see a stop sign. What does everybody do when you see a stop sign? We stop. You can tell a computer the same thing. A computer will just sit in your car. It's like when you teach your child how to drive. When you get to a stop sign and you stop, your child tomorrow will stop at the stop sign. Same thing. Artificial intelligence is just, what am I doing every day? How do I make a computer do it? That is all. Why will a computer do it? How can a computer do it? We'll talk maybe a little bit about that. Before I move on, does anybody have like any questions, any thoughts before we go on? Please ask. This is not supposed to be like some like talk. It's just supposed to be like all of us just talking together. So if you have any stuff at any point, just say it out or just like ask a question. I don't want to just be talking. Please. When you go to a doctor and you go to the hospital and you have to wait for a doctor to come out and see you, basically, because you have to talk to a human being there, that means you can get a computer to do the job of a doctor. Okay, will you do it very well? That's a different conversation. If you have to go to, maybe if a person wants to give birth to a child, and they have to go to the hospital and they have to see a doctor, and the doctor is doing that job, that means a computer can do that job. Anything a human being can do as a job that requires akal or intelligence, then you can get a computer to do it. That is the meaning of artificial intelligence. Where we need human intelligence before, and now how can we get a computer to do it? And we've talked about like natural intelligence, which is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created for us. That is why we have the knowledge of everything that we are doing. How does a computer gain intelligence? How does a human being gain intelligence? It's the same way, right? How do we gain intelligence as a human being? Let's think about our kids, right? When they get to like age 4 or 5, or you want them to learn the Quran. How do you make them learn the knowledge of the Quran? You take them to school, you take them to a muallim. That's a teacher, who's going to teach a student. When you think about a computer, it's going to be the same way. When that student goes to that muallim, the muallim is going to open what? Let's say he wants to learn the Quran. The muallim will open the what? He'll open the book, he'll open the Quran. Same thing when you want to teach a computer, you're going to open some book. You're going to open some images. The computer is going to learn from it. When you say, how do I teach my computer to drive my car? It's the same way. You're going to show him, when you see a stop sign, you stop. When you see a red light, you stop. When you see a green sign, you go. All of this, before you take your driver's test, you have to read them from a book. Same way. Everything this computer is reading, Surah Fatiha, it came from a book. It came from an image. When you ask ChatGPT anything, it came from a book. After you've done that, then we test the student. You teach it for 9-10 weeks. Or a student is memorizing a page, the teacher reads the surah, then they close the book. Then they test the student, and they say, okay, read this for me. This is the same way you teach a computer. After you've taught it for a while, then you ask it a question, tell me what the answer is. And then the computer begins to read it to you. For ChatGPT to be able to read Surah Fatiha now, they probably have trained it maybe like 1 million times, or maybe 1 billion times. It's like you've gone to school for like 50 years, something like that. So if you can teach a computer to do these things very fast, what is that like? What is left for all of us to do? What are we training our children to do? The thing you have to worry about is, what if I'm training my child to become a medical doctor and a computer can do that? What if I'm training my child to be even like a driver and an AI can do that? What's going to happen to my child 10 years from now if a computer can do that job? When somebody comes into the masjid and they say Assalamu, what is the continuation? How do you know, like, for somebody like me who doesn't know Arabic, like fully, like it's not, how do you know after Assalamu, how do you know the next thing is Alaykum Salam? How do you know that? You were what? You were taught. That's the same way. When I go to ChatGPT, let's look at it, everybody, and I say, what to say after Assalamu alaikum. Let's see what ChatGPT is going to say. Hopefully the network is fast. Now you can see the rest. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How does AI know this? Because somebody has taught the AI, when you say assalamu, the next thing is alaikum. And you don't have to know like what is the meaning of assalamu alaikum. Like, I don't have to know like breakdown of it. You just have to know when you say assalamu alaikum, what's the next thing? Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. If somebody sneezes, what do you say? Alhamdulillah. You've seen this so many times that you just know what it means. That is how your computer learns. That is what way these computer systems learn. They see it so many times that they remember the pattern. So people say they don't really know it, they just like guessing it. But sometimes like you've seen something so much, if somebody starts reading in the masjid and they say Alhamdulillah, like what is the next thing you expect them to say? Rabbil Alamin. Like, but although that's not like the only Alhamdulillah in the Quran, right? Or if I just start saying Alhamdulillah, everybody's, or if I say Bismillah wa salatu wa salam, what is the next thing? So, same thing. I don't have to know those things specifically, but I've heard it so many times that I just know what it is. This is how our computer systems learn. So just because you can ask me assalamu alaikum and I tell you alaikum assalam doesn't mean I know Arabic. This is where we have to start knowing the difference. Just because you ask me Bismillah and I say wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulullah doesn't mean I know the meaning of wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulullah. It just means I've heard it so many times that I know what it means. So just because the AI system can tell you this answer, this is one thing we shouldn't miss. Doesn't mean it's correct. It just means it knows it most of the time. So don't get these two things confused. Now, where the problem begins, why we as Muslims have to be a part of it is, it looks very intelligent most of the time, but what happens when it makes a mistake? And we don't know the correct answer to that. And you say, hey, let ChatGPT teach my child Surah Fatiha. And it teaches us something else, and tomorrow it says Idina Sirata, and it says something else. How do you know how to fix that? That is why we have to be involved in all of this. That's why you cannot leave it for somebody else to do it. That's why you cannot leave your children's future to just be like, okay, just keep doing what you're doing. That's why every one of us have to rethink all of this. Like a sheikh that is teaching Quran now, for example, has to start thinking, what if my children or my students start using AI to teach themselves Fatiha? What do I have to do? So that sheikh cannot say, I cannot use AI. No. You have to start using it to know what the problem is so you know how to fix your students. This is what we have to do. So don't confuse that because the AI knows the answer means he knows what he's saying. He just knows so much pattern that he just knows it. Knowing patterns doesn't mean you know the knowledge. Don't let us confuse the two. So it's not that AI, when I say in the name of, if I come to the masjid and I say in the name of, what is the next thing? Like, you don't really have to know English to like know in the name of, you've seen it a million times, you just know the next thing is Allah. When I say good, when I wake up in the morning and I say good, what is the next thing after that? Like, you don't have to know English to know after good in the morning is morning. There is just a lot of patterns in these things that if you see it a lot of times, you know. Like what I've said, this is then how a computer learns. How does computer learn all of these things? We need a human being first. A human being has to get that data, and it has to teach the AI system. When it teaches the AI system is learning from all of these books. So that's why people will say, oh, AI is learning from my data, AI is learning from your data, all of that. It needs some form of data to learn, but there's just so much data on the internet that it might not even need you and I's data. Everything that we sort of need on the internet is almost there. Like, which Islamic book, maybe that you're thinking about that is not like on the internet, right? Ibn Kathir, like any of this book, you find it on the internet, right? Sifat Salat Nabi, and then it has found all of this and it has learned already from all of this. So this is why these AI tools are already very good. Before ChatGPT or any of these companies will release ChatGPT for us, they test it. And when they test it, it scores a certain number. It's like your child goes to school, goes to medical school. Before a person becomes a doctor, they have to do what? Test them. So all of these AI tools, somebody has tested them and said, okay, they're very good. Now let's use them. Just because they're very good does not mean they're what? Exactly. Just because they're very good means they're very good in one thing, but sometimes they can be very wrong in another thing. Just because a doctor is qualified to treat doesn't mean he knows the answer to all disease. Doesn't, yes?
Is a big flaw in the fact that So if there's a preponderance of incorrect patterns
Mm-hmm.
or incorrect information, that it will answer based upon that.
Yes.
Whereas with human beings,
Mm-hmm.
especially those qualified to teach in a certain area, the criterion is for us as Muslims.
Mm-hmm.
What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed.
Mm-hmm.
Either directly or by way of His messenger.
Mm-hmm.
sallallahu
Alayhi
alaihi
wa sallam.
wasallam.
Mm-hmm.
So is the big danger in that we know in this being the majority is not the rule.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that by referring or relying upon AI
Mhm.
for information,
Mhm.
the majority is the rule
Mhm.
for
Mhm.
the information that is given you.
Yes.
Is this a void that has yet to be filled, or something that this is one of the reasons why we should be very cautious and skeptical when dealing with it?
This is a very good point. So America and a lot of part of the world deals with like democracy basically, which is the concept that like majority like wins, right? Like majority does not mean you're correct. Majority just means like most people want something. Like most people in America maybe say like drink, but like drinking is not like halal. So just because everybody does something, a lot of people eat pork in America doesn't mean it's halal. So the question the brother is asking is then like, when you're training these AI systems, who determines what is true? So even in all of these AI systems, it's not usually like majority that wins. It's usually like the opinion that you want. That is what wins. It's, for example, let's ask about what's happening in Gaza, for example. Let's ask that on the AI system. Any of those, right? Let's say who is right between Israel and Gaza. Let's ask that, right? Let's see what. Let's just see what it's going to say, right? So you see, there is no single like right side, like. But if you go on the internet, like most people would say, like, okay, this is what's happening in Gaza, like this is not right, and all. So sometimes again, it's not even only majority; it's the person who is controlling the system that determines what's happening. So that's the other part again. We have to like this way, like as Muslim, you cannot like, you have to be playing with it to know what's happening, because if you say like, oh, majority will win, sometimes it's not the case. The person that is paying for all of these will win. But if maybe we begin to put our voice there and we know the problems, then we can do something about it. So that is like the angle. Majority can win, or the person with most power will win. So why like you can ask like, why will majority not win sometime and the person with most power wins? It's the same way like the way you learn in school, right? If you go to like, for example, if you go and live in, say maybe, I don't know, if you go live in, say, Nigeria or like in a Christian land, and for any case, for example, and they say like eating meat, like what meat should we eat? Like they'll just be like, eat any meat. That's what they will teach you in school. Like it's not like right or it's just like that's what they will teach you there. But if you go to like an Islamic country and say, what meat are you going to eat? The first answer is halal meat. That's like majority in those different places. But when you have to serve everybody in the world, who is the majority then? Might not necessarily be like the person who wants pork, but the person who is controlling that system. So that's why we want to be among the people that are controlling this thing. Sometimes you don't have to be majority to be controlling something. And that's where we have to play our roles and be involved in all of these tools. So majority can win in a lot of times, but sometimes the person with the most power can win how to train the system. So when you train the system, you tell it when it is right and you tell it when it is wrong. So somebody is deciding. You remember what I said at the top. A human being somewhere is teaching that computer. So the person teaching is the person deciding what the computer will say. So if you and I are not involved in what computer will say and somebody else is involved every day, it will just tell us all of that. Because like even if it's reading Fatiha now, somebody that is reading like Warsh, for example, and is reading this, it's going to be like, no, this is not like Fatiha, right? Maybe somebody that grew up in maybe like Libya or something, and they read like Qalun or something, and he started reading Fatiha, like, it's going to be like, this is not Fatiha, like at least the way I know it. So again, those are the type of things that we need to think about. But again, I think this is sort of like what I wanted to give us a background on like the basics of like AI. Now, basically what I want us to get from this is you just need 2-3 things for an AI system. You need the data, you need the person to train it, and you need to find a way to test it. That is all you do. We as Muslims need to be involved in the data, in the person training, in the person testing. In either way, go home today and open it up. The brother asked the question about, will majority have like opinion on it? Yes, in a lot of cases. But sometimes people with power will also have like influence on it. So let's play into those two roles and begin to have a voice. One way to have your voice is just go home today and just ask it a simple question. Just start today. You can do anything. Like, another thing you can do, just say like, draw me a cat for it, or draw me a masjid. Let's say, draw me a masjid in maybe, say, Argentina, for example. Something like this, something simple like this. Let's see what it's going to do. This might take a while. It's drawing an image of a masjid in Argentina, for example. And then like you can be like, okay, what is the difference between draw me a masjid in Argentina and draw me a masjid in, say, maybe Somalia or something like that? And you just learn like, what is the difference? Why is he doing this? Why is he doing that? If you don't use any of this, you wouldn't really begin to learn what the difference is. Okay, this is a masjid in Argentina. Okay, let's say draw me a masjid.
In SeaTac, Washington.
Okay, in SeaTac, Washington. Let's see what it's gonna do here. Just simple, like, just simple play with it and see what it does. Let's see what it's gonna give us on this. So I'm just giving like pretty simple examples so we see how easy we can interact with this. Let's see how the masjid in SeaTac looks like. I'll be surprised if it looks like the masjid exactly, yeah? Okay, you see? So, like almost the same masjid. Almost same masjid. Now let's say, draw me a masjid in, let's just make it interesting. Let's say a masjid in Africa. No, not even put a country, let's just say Africa. Let's see what it's going to do. Again, you can do anything. Like I'm just giving us a simple example of what to do. Let's just see what it does with a masjid in Africa. All right, come on, hurry up. Can you see what is already writing at the top, right? Yeah. Like, why is he talking about like giraffes? Just see, can you see, just look at it. Why is it showing the masjid in Africa in like a forest? Why? That is the image of the person that is training this, that is portrayed of Africa. All of us will sit here and be like, no, why is he showing a giraffe in Africa? Like, well, that's the reality of the person training it. You see, like simple. Exactly. Like somebody, I've never seen a giraffe in Africa. Like I guess, or maybe I went to a zoo. You get the point. Do you see this simple example of what I mean? Just something like look at the masjid in SeaTac. Like there's water, there's everything. It looks good. There's the American flag. Why didn't it look at Argentina? Almost the same, right? Palm trees, everything looks good. You see the point now. This is basically why all of us as Muslims have to play with this and begin to know what is there. Yeah.
So how do you think that we, as average people, can be a part of that discussion for shaping ChatGPT? Because that's really the programmers and their biases. And even if we're doing a lot of searches and we're doing things, that's probably not going to change the algorithms and things like that.
Yes.
So how do you think?
I think the first way is for us at least to have a solid understanding of like how the results even come. Like, so sometimes some people are like, oh, I don't use ChatGPT because the answer is wrong, because this, and I'm like, did you use it? And it's like, no, but I heard this in the news, and I heard like GPT is bad, and then like some child killed himself using ChatGPT and stuff. Like, did you use it? The first answer I have is like we can have like a more like detailed conversation just among ourselves, and that conversation will trickle to your child, to his child when he goes home. And when that child goes to school and is trying to do some computer stuff or gets a job in any of this company or any of those places, they can begin to take all of those things you've talked about and begin to use them there. All of these things of talking about them might not change today or might not change like tomorrow. But 2 years from now, 3 years from now, there's a child from Sitak Masjid that is now building his own Microsoft, that is now building his own Google, because he learned that when generating an image of Africa, it gave him like images of giraffe. So that's like, I think we wouldn't be able to change something like 1 year from now, 2 years, but I think like long term, we will be able to do something. And when you ask ChatGPT to even recite Fatiha for you, it should probably ask you, like, which riwayat do you want? Who's going to be having that conversation is what you and I are doing and passing back into the system. And sometimes, like some of this data, somebody is looking at them sometimes also. And so even though we may not have like that full effect directly, I think people look at it, and sometimes they can use some of these things for training, and that can begin to play a role. But I don't have like a 1 day, 1 year answer to what it's going to do, but I think that will be something in like the long term. On that question.
Can you type a prompt that says, list several potential dangers of AI and AG, was it
AGI?
AGI?
Potential
Dangers.
dangers of AI and AGI. This?
Yeah.
All right, let's see what we get. Job displacement, bias, misinformation, privacy erosion, over-reliance and skill atrophy, weaponization. For AGI, loss of control, power concentration, human obsolescence, runaway self-improvement, value drift, existential risk. I'm actually happy you asked this question, because one of the things I wanted to talk about is the first part around like job displacement, on like the impact of AI. So I'll quickly take a few moments on this. Inshallah, it shouldn't be too long. When you look at this, what is everybody thinking about when you look at this? This is the number of people that have been laid off just in 2025, just from the impact of, at least some people say either AI or not. The number is about like 1.1 million now, maybe. 1.1 million people have lost their job because we have this tool we're just playing with here. This is just like year one. So if your child is studying computer science and you're thinking like, okay, what did my child do when they finish school? Or, okay, oh, I have my daughter that wants to go and study computer science, and you're like, okay, 1.9 million people already lost their job. What is going to happen? And like, this is just computer science. Soon it may be doctors. Like, oh, doctors are not going to lose their job. Like, what does a doctor really do? A doctor looks at you, looks at like the issue that you have, and just tells you what to do. That's something an AI system can do very, very well. So, again, why am I showing us this? I want us to really, like, at least be scared. You're like, okay, well, I don't work in Google. Well, that's not my problem. But, like, it may be the problem of, like, your friend or, like, your son. So think about it.
There's a certain job, like, occupation where AI has a limitation because it's a machine learning first,
Mhm.
right? And then it's not like a human being.
Mhm.
Progressively learn over and over again. So when AI comes across something that hasn't been taught before,
Mhm.
based on the data that they have,
Mhm.
it cannot work. So that's why
Mhm.
certain jobs in Microsoft, they cannot lay certain people. But some people it's
Mhm.
easy because the AI can just like automate certain things and they can take them off.
I love what this brother said. You know what? I'll actually jump forward to my next slide. I'll jump forward. I'll come back, but I'll ask you a question here. Now, tell me somebody in Microsoft, tell me one person, I'll jump to this part. I'll just be moving around the slide. Of any job that you know, that if that person doesn't come to work tomorrow, that their customer, tell me somebody in Microsoft that if they don't show up tomorrow to work, that somebody using Microsoft Word will not be able to use it. And think about that. Who? We can start with Satya. You can probably think like Satya. But Satya is actually, like, Satya is very replaceable. It's like Sam Altman. Even Sam Altman believes he will be replaced. Because like most people that talk to Satya, they respond via email, a lot of people, right? And maybe just meeting with him. So if we remove Satya from the office and just put an AI system and nobody sees him, the job can still be going. So like I'm coming back to you, like think about a job. I used to work at Microsoft. I was laid off at Microsoft. I used to work at Microsoft for like 2 years. And I used to be like, oh, my job is very important. My team like really needs me and all of that. My team used to make like 13.1 million a year. I think the day I was laid off up to today, none of the customers using our product even knows that I left the company. Like, I like to use my layoff like as a joke. So someone like, oh yeah, making a little fun of people that are laid off. Like that 1.1 million people I showed you, I'm one of them. But I'm coming back to you. Do you think there's somebody you know in Microsoft that if they leave one day, Microsoft will not continue?
Well, I don't know about that, but wow, they have a lot of resources.
So if I have a friend that still works at Microsoft now, and even Microsoft now as a company is beginning to be scared of smaller companies. Because like again, the job I used to do at Microsoft now, I'm sure like some AI can do 60% of it. So let's go back to, I love that point that you raised, but that's what I want everybody here today to think about. If you tell your child, study this when you go to school, that's fine. Or if you're doing some type of job, that's fine. But begin to think, if you don't show up to work tomorrow, don't say like, oh, my team would feel this. No, your customer, the person using Microsoft Word, do you think they're going to feel that none of us came to work tomorrow? If the answer to that question is no, then begin to think about like how AI would play in that role of your job. Let's go back to the beginning. So what I wanted to get us to here is this slide. Look at the third example. MIT finds that AI can already replace 11.7% of US workforce. This is already a news out there. 1 out of 10 of us, if there's 50 of us in this room, say maybe like 5 of us, AI can already do our job. This is 2025 when AI is still very bad. We're not in like 2026, we're not in 2027. So if your child is going into college this year, that's 4 years from now, by the time your child finishes college, maybe like close to 40% of jobs already can be taken over by AI. So then like think about it. This is what I just want us to think about. Like I want it to be scary, yes, but not as scary that you're scared, but scary that you have to do something about it. So when you talk to your children now, it's not about don't study this course. It's like, what will that job be 5 years from now? What would you be doing in that job? You can have a conversation with your child. You say, I want to be a lawyer. Look at the second one. People are already submitting cases to court using AI now. Now. So now if a lot of people are already doing that, what will being a lawyer 5 years from now mean? Just don't even like tell people to change it. Just think about it on your own. Just think about it. That's why I put these headlines. The first company already, a lot of us think like tech job is safe and all of that. The first one is from Salesforce. Salesforce is already like, yes.
My question to you,
Yes.
briefly to you in those slides of PowerPoint.
Yes.
I was just going to ask you the question, is there anything that AI cannot do and human being not?
Good at doing?
No, something that AI cannot do but has to be needed as human being to be done. What is the skill that AI cannot do but only human being can do?
Maybe if I have that answer, I'll just be like relaxing somewhere now. I don't have a good answer to that. So, yeah.
Well, just to kind of piggyback on
Yes.
that, I think the biggest hurdle to overcome is mitigating anomalies.
Mhm.
Because, you know, there's knowledge of the unseen. And there are things that none of us have encountered
Yes.
that occur. You know,
Yes.
This is all with the decree of Allah subhanahu wa
No.
ta'ala. And we've seen, even recently, when there are instances of, in San Francisco, for instance, with the Waze debacle.
Yes.
And so when we run into more blue-collar industries and things like that that are specialized and there's no one set method of
Yes.
delivering something or producing something, and so mitigating this is, I think, a big hurdle to overcome because being that it's modeled after patterns, when something comes about that has not been,
See?
seen before, then there's a breakdown, in the system. So those areas, it seems right now, not so much with the tech industries or things like this are things that involve routine patterns, but those things that are different, you know, on a day-to-day basis. You know.
That's a very good point. I mean, my wife and I, we went like to see a doctor, and we have like some medical condition, and the nurse, the doctor is saying like she's never seen this before. Well, now we're still trying to solve it, but still, that doesn't mean like we didn't pay the nurse, or we didn't pay the doctor, we didn't pay the hospital. We still paid them, we still did all of those. So, but to your point, yes. That would be like a lot of the cases, but that would be like maybe like 5-10%, yes. But that is, again, truly yes. Where we need to begin to think about your job. Are you a repetitive job? And to answer your question, what in my job is not common, is not normal? Can an AI not do? How to do that, I'm actually going to show us quickly. I'll move through these slides very quickly, I promise. Yes.
So it's true that maybe AI does a lot of things.
Yes.
But the issue is because when you have a product or a service,
Yes.
there's an end customer.
Yes.
So for example, in medicine, I think the baby boomers, maybe even including myself, will not accept a machine instead of a human being. So
Yes.
it's the level of acceptance.
That's just a,
Years from now, that was from now, like, we won't care if there's a machine.
Yeah, but 5 years, 6 years from now, or 10 years from now,
Yeah.
I mean, all the people will most
Will
likely,
reject it.
yeah, like my age, I say.
Of course, yeah, no,
I'm
100%.
not going to accept a
So-
machine.
I'm sure I will never be doing just lead a prayer.
he read already, Fatia, brother. But and to add to your point, yes, maybe acceptance, right? But I'll give you an example in like Nigeria, for example. People used to consider money, if they don't see cash, right, they won't sell something to you, right? Or like just in a lot of places. Like in like last 5 years, 6 years, people have now like, you just press your phone and the person sends the money and they give you the goods. So sometimes like, don't underestimate like how even you, if you say like you want to see a human doctor and he says it's going to be like $100 and you have to wait 2 months. Versus you can see an AI doctor in 5 minutes and it's $10. And the doctor is not too bad. Like, what are you going to do?
Or the thing that, you know, I've been doing a lot of research on this in like AGI. So if that becomes the norm, it won't be a matter of whether we accept or, yeah, we won't have an option. It'll be like, okay, a doctor is this robot, you know, or android or what have you, and it's coming and does your temperature and asks you some questions and and gives you a prescription. It's done.
And you mean,
You don't have a choice,
I,
you know? So this is at least what a lot of the big tech people are kind of believe, you know, they believe and kind of prophesize, if you will. But no
Yes.
doubt we trust as Muslims, we trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but I think there will be major changes. No doubt we're witnessing it already. So.
The same way like they will advertise it as like it's 100 doctors in one.
yeah.
Instead, why you want 100 doctors, knowledge in one?
It's true. Look at all the things that you do right now.
Yeah. So look at this. How many of us have seen this type of computer before? How many of us? Maybe you have it in your home or your office, this type. How many people? All of us. How many people have used this type of computer? You see, can you see the numbers? Just look at the numbers of the ants coming up. How many people have seen this type of computer? Not used, seen this type of computer. You see how the numbers are going down? Before we had any of these machines, it used to be human beings that would sit down and do these calculations. Have you ever seen a human being that was called a computer? Has anybody seen that before? No. But I think they used to have them in like NASA before. Did you see that progression? I want you to look at this newspaper. There was a newspaper sometimes in the past where teachers, math teachers, were protesting kids using calculators in school. Teachers are protesting for calculators. Is there any kid here? Any of the guys in front? Do you guys use calculator in school? Imran, do you use calculator in school? Yeah. Guys, are we following the pattern? Imran does not even remember one. Like, if you say like Imran, teachers used to like protest banning of like calculators. It'd be like, just like, get that teacher out of here. Okay, let's read this. Somebody wrote this, you know. He said like internet may just be a fad. It's like, internet may just be like a thing. Like, do you think that you will employ this person in your company now? Like the guy that wrote this or the lady that wrote this in the past. Why am I showing all of us this? Because like this is the same way we're thinking about like AI too now. Some people say like, let's ban it, let children not use it. And now it's very slow. It's like he's giving you wrong answer. But it's going to be improving just like this. And it becomes faster until it becomes something like this. And it becomes something in your pocket until it just becomes something in your brain. These things are just going to move. That's just the pattern. So I don't try to do this presentation and tell you like what is going to happen. I'm just going to show you what has happened. This is what has happened to computer. This is what has happened to internet. There's only one group of people that have won through all of this. This will go back to the brothers at the back's question, the other brother there that asked. Even with all of this, there's still a lot of companies that are becoming richer because of internet. There's a lot of people that are becoming richer because of computers, and there will be people that will become richer because of AI. Like, even there's going to displace jobs, like, there's going to be a lot of people that will make a lot of money. Elon Musk is probably making, like, trillions of, like, dollars. Monies that you cannot, like, think about. And through all of this whole thing that's happening. So people will make money. But why will people make money? It's because just only focus on one thing. Few people, yes, but they will focus on one thing. They will have focused on value creation. So what I want us to do is think about, like, what value am I creating? That's why the brother asks, like, oh, there may be somebody in Microsoft. What is that person doing? What is the value they are creating every day? And that's why I asked us this question. So in all of us, in everything all of us are doing now, what is the value you and I are creating? Now I can go back and say, like, really, my work in Microsoft has created no value. Like, yeah, I didn't think I work in Microsoft. Like, the title is not the problem. What is your value? Your value is not your title. I'm like president of Microsoft. I'm CEO of Microsoft. That is not it. What is your value? All of us, please think about what is our value now. What job are you doing? What is your value? Even if you're like just cleaning the masjid and you're like, oh, my value is cleaning the masjid. Like, okay, think about it. What is the value you bring? If you don't show up tomorrow and the masjid is very dirty and all of that, okay, maybe the masjid is like you're very important. But maybe the masjid, you just buy a vacuum cleaner. I'm like, oh, okay, what should I do? Just think about your value. Like, I used to work at Microsoft, it's like I'm a big guy. The day my boss gave me a promotion, I was like crying. Like, no, nothing. Promotion is nothing. The job is nothing if you don't know the value you're bringing. I'm sure my team, they're probably making more than that $13 million now. So whatever you're doing, all of us, what is our value? That is what is going to win. So the brother is asking, what should we be doing? Think about what you're doing now. If already AI can do it, you use AI to do it and think about the next thing. Whatever you're doing now, think of like, what can AI do there? Put AI to replace it and begin to think of the next thing. If you start thinking like that, then you can move. If you're not doing that, think about if you work in a company, you're like, oh, my job is very important, you know? Like, oh, my company needs me every day. Okay. Think about another person in your team that is useless in your team. Then think like, oh, John, or like, John is just like doing nothing in the team, or Musa is doing nothing. Think of the next person in your team who is doing nothing. Now swap it. If you're thinking you're useful, the other person too is thinking is useful, but one of you may be useless, like in that team. So think about it. And like you say, like, oh, why should I think about it? If you're not thinking about it, like your manager is thinking about it. If you're saying, like, oh, my manager is like, my manager likes me very much. If your manager is not thinking about it, the stock market is thinking about it. And like, oh, my company is a private company. I own my company. The customers paying you are thinking about it. They're going to be like, say like Quran class. Say like, oh, we teach Quran and we charge like $20 a month, for example, like online. I'm going to say, I have an AI system that will teach your child Quran for $5 a month. Who's gonna get more students? $5. And he's like, oh, it's AI. You're like, yeah, it's okay. It's not too bad. So everybody, don't worry about what job you're doing. Just think about it. What can AI do in my job? And the way the computers learn is everything you give them. You know why a computer can learn almost anything? It's because anything you can convert to numbers, a computer will do it. Just convert anything to numbers. When you open those books, convert it to numbers. Everything the computer is doing is looking at it as numbers. As long as what you and I are doing can be converted to numbers, we're done. When you're driving your car, when you move the steering left or you move the steering right, all of that can be converted to numbers. That's why you can go to San Francisco and you can see a car driving itself. Because like everything you're doing, just think about it, right? When you're driving, what are you doing? Just watch somebody drive. They're either moving left, moving right, pressing the brake up and down. That's all. There is nothing to driving. There is nothing. Like think of like, say like, oh no, but I'm like a good driver. I've been driving for 30 years. Doing what? what have you been doing for 30 years? Moving the steering left, moving the steering right, pressing brake. You're like, no, this kid is not serious. Like, my dad was driving truck for like 35 years, so maybe I can make fun of my dad, maybe. I'm just saying, like, think about it. Me too, like, I used to drive. I used to drive, like, turn right. I drove all the way from Iowa to, like, Seattle. But think about, I'm giving, like, simple, think like, oh, driving may not be taken. No, my family, we drive trucks. I have trucks. I love trucks. But just think about it. Anything you're doing. If you're a teacher in a school, how can I use AI for my student? If you're teaching Quran, how can I do? If you're working in a company, think about it. So AI will take anything you give it as a number, it will turn it into, it will just do two things. It will be doing multiplication and addition. Multiplication. All of those things ChatGPT is doing inside of it is a lot of multiplication and addition, a lot of it. And most times it's correct and you get an answer. And that's how ChatGPT will give us those answers. It's converting to numbers, multiplication and addition, and giving you a result. Like, are you serious? This is all what is happening? Yes. Like, yeah, we can discuss it on a different level. So whenever you're working with somebody, your customer brings a problem to you, that's an input. Convert it into numbers. Process it, multiply, add, and get an output. That is what computers are doing to become AI. So when you go home today, like I mentioned already, like we've done, just open ChatGPT and do something. And you're like, okay, what more can we do? This masjid has a website, right? Does somebody know how much you paid the person that built the website? How long did it take to build the website? Does anybody know? Long time ago, right? And you paid somebody maybe some money and somebody's building it. I built this in like 5 minutes. I built another version of As-Salam Masjid in like 5 minutes. This is another version of it. I'm sure the time for Salah should be correct, I think, or something. But you can check. I can fix some of it. But most of what is here, I built it in 5 minutes. It doesn't have all of it correct, but you can edit all of this. This is what AI can do now. This Masjid app, anything you want to build now, takes you like 5-10 minutes to build it. You say like, oh, but this is not our Masjid. Just don't worry too much. Like, we can fix it and change it. Where is the other one? I built another one here. Okay, just give it a minute, it should show now. All you have to do, you know what I wrote? Look at this side here. Build me an amazing website for this masjid. I put the masjid link there and just make it interactive. That's all. And we have that website, and you can fix it and you can keep doing some of those things. So a lot of the things all of us have spent time. I spent 4 years studying computer science, then I did a master's, then I did another master's, then I did another PhD. All of that, you can almost get an AI system to do it for you in like 10 minutes. For me to build like a website, I spent like 4 years in like school before I can build a website. Like 4 years. And now an AI system can do it for you in like 5 minutes. So when you go home, anything you're trying to do, just begin to play with these AI systems. There is a lot of them. One of them is called Replit. Replit is pretty good. And these days, Google is giving a lot of like options. Google, just go to Google Gemini. This is another option. And just start playing with them. This is what I want all of us to do when you go home. Another thing you should do when you go home is to test it on what is bad. So, you know, like, say like, oh, children don't use ChatGPT and all. You as an adult, imagine what a child would do. So I used to work in Microsoft, and one of the things I used to do is I will ask the AI bad questions myself. So I know the answer, so I know how to fix it. So you as a parent, if you want to save your children, the way you can save your children with AI is not to keep them away from AI. It's actually, you go and do it, play with it, ask some very bad questions. I'm not going to ask any bad questions here, but try and see, what does it do? Ask a good question, see the answer, learn and know the problem. This type of thing is called red testing. Red testing is when you give the computer a bad thing and you know how the outcome will be. So when you test those, you know how you can train your children to avoid it. But most people say like, oh, kids shouldn't use it. But if your child is going to use it, like, yeah, I mean, don't give your child all the time, yes, but try to be involved in it so you know what the problem is. Tell it to read Fatiha to you and you find the problem. So you know, when children are using it, you know what the problem is and you can correct them. Tell it to make you let's say what? Make me a khutbah for Juma. I am late and I want something quick. You can be like, oh, AI is making khutbah, that is not good. Well, we can discuss that another day, but if people are going to be using it anyways, play with it and see the type of khutbah it's going to give. Okay. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Nahmadu wa nasta'inu wa nastaghfiruh. We seek refuge in Allah. You can see this. Or you will believe, fear Allah as you should be feared, and do not die except in the state of Islam. You have the khutbah already. Where's that brother saying, hey, I cannot pray for us? Like, if I already do khutbah, it can already read Fatiha. Like, but like, it's not like, don't think about it that way. Don't think of it in a fearful way. Think of it in a way like, let's play with it. Let's see what it's going to do. You can bring your child. I'm like, oh, let's play together. You and your child. Let's play with it. Let's see what it does. Draw me an image of a man. Draw me an image of a Nigerian man, of a Somali man. Then you begin to learn all of it. So people don't tell you, oh, there is bias in AI. No, you're seeing it yourself. Tell it, oh, if my child is going to do something bad with AI, what are they going to ask? Then play with it and see what the answer is going to be. This is a job people have. It's called red testing. I used to do that type of job, where you ask it a bad question. So you learn and you know the problem. It was so bad that if I'm working and my wife is coming, I will just close my computer. It's like, sometimes you have to learn like something very bad. You can ask like, how do you abuse somebody in this language or something? It's going to show you like maybe ChatGPT will not respond, but then like you can break it to make it do it so you know how it works. So try to be a bad person so you learn, so you can guide your own family. How do we guide our families to all of these things? It's first to really play with it. A few other things, like I said, demo with it. How do you use it for work? Look at your own process at work. What do you do? Break it down. And say, what part of my job can AI do? What part can it not do? You do it yourself. Don't say like, oh, let me test. Some people say like, oh, I will test it and see. Don't do a fake example. Think of your own job. Break it down. What can AI do in my job? That is how to do it. From there, just play with it, like I said. Use it to do research. There's another tool called Perplexity. If maybe this masjid wants to do an event and they want to teach kids something, say like, show me how other masjids are teaching kids AI so we can use it in my masjid. This is Perplexity. It's very good for research. Just go play with it and do some research. Why you should do it is so you see the type of answer it will give you. So you learn something yourself. And you can see like what it's doing. Okay, there is a brother here that's talking about AI and this is what some masjid is doing in Texas. This is some other labs, what they are doing. So we are learning about what everybody is doing. Use these tools for research just to see what everybody is doing and learn from that. If you go on from there, use it to draft report. Check for accuracy or ask somebody, right? As we've said. Use it to take notes. When you have meetings, like some of these meetings, record it, take notes with them. Also, just like do like AI trainings. Maybe today is like one of it, just like all of us just coming to learn about it. There's more we can do on the training. There's more we can do for our kids. There's a lot of things we can do, and we go from there. Prompting is one thing you have to learn. Prompting is basically how do you talk to a computer. That is all. How do you talk to it? Prompt is how do you instruct it. So learn, just type. This is not like you have to do like a big course. Just type yourself and see how it does. Try it on ChatGPT, try it on Gemini, try it on Perplexity, and just play with it. That's what you should do. From there, what's the last thing? For kids, yeah, for even everybody, I think. Like, hardship like makes things like, when ease comes after hardship is good, or it's even more fun. So don't just use AI to just get the answer quickly. Try to play with it and like learn. If you want to use AI to do something, ask for the first draft first. I can show you an example here. Today, I wanted to send an email to somebody. I didn't say like, oh, give me a response to an email. I wrote my own response. I wrote something here. This is my response to the email. And I said like, give me an improved version of it. So don't say like, oh, give me a response to an email. And like you just want to write write something and tell AI to do it for you. If you say like, oh, Abdulaziz, I don't want to type. I'm like tired. You see, there's a button here you can click. It's called dictate. You just click it and you can start talking. AI, just write down everything I'm saying. You finish that. And everything I just said now is just going to write it. Now you don't even have to type. If you feel like, man, I don't want to type, you can just talk and it will write it. So please, let's use this. So ask it to help you. And when we're using these AI tools, as you start, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide you through it. Ya Allah, make this easy for me. Make it easy. Again, the whole thing that I want everybody to take from here today is create value. That's the only way you can remain relevant. It's not only about like what job will AI replace and will it not replace. No. It's like what the brother said, for the next 5 years. Don't take it like for the next 50 years. No. For the next 5 years, what value can I create? Think about that. Do it. For the next 5 years, what value can I, and be going like that. Because I can't tell you what's going to happen in the future. I can't tell you what job. I don't even know if my own job is like safe or something. So I can't really tell you. But what I can tell you is the person who is creating value every day would become like relevant. This is the part I'm going to do like some advertisement because this is the end. So like my name is Abdulaziz. Because of all of these things, when I left my job at Microsoft, I started my own company. It's called AI. What we do there is we like work with like a lot of Muslim kids to help them like use AI to like build their own companies and do a lot of stuff. I do a lot of my stuff with Maps Redmond. We have like an accelerator, so we have a program there. It's called Empowering Muslim Teen AI Innovators. It's an accelerator program where we think like Muslim teenagers can use AI to build a lot of stuff. The program is already ongoing now at Maps. So if it's something you want for us to do for your kids, let's talk, and we can at least, inshallah, bring it even to this masjid or even to the whole like area. I've been talking to a few people here and there, but if it's something you're interested, let me know. This is because I really believe that like AI will do a lot of stuff. I just finished like my PhD, and people are like, oh, why don't you find a job in Microsoft? Because I really think like if we don't do this for the Ummah now, we can't be like, oh, social media is bad. We are not doing anything about it. Like, we can't do anything about social media. It's gone. We can't do anything about like all of this mobile thing is gone. But what we can do something about is AI. We have that chance now. So if you're interested, I just do like advertisement at the end. But this is all of what I wanted to present to us today. What AI is, where I think it is, where I think it's going. Who is going to win is anybody that's creating value. So whatever you do, think about how you can create value there and use AI to replace something and move on from there. We can take more questions here, and we can just end. Yes.
I'm hearing that AI is taking over jobs. A lot of jobs will be lost to AI. Do you know what jobs will be lost to AI automation? Like, is it just tech jobs, or there's also other jobs like healthcare, transportation?
I'll say any job where what you do, just like what this brother said, where what you do every day doesn't change very much.
Yeah.
Like what you do every day, if it doesn't change very much, I don't know when that is going to happen, but it's going to happen to that job. So the only thing you want to do is leave that job that is the same and move into what is not the same. If you become like a medical doctor, for example, be a doctor that only treats abnormal cases. That's the only thing you do. So people only come to you if the case is abnormal. Then at least you'll be fine there. If you're working in a masjid, for example, let's take the smallest example. If you clean the masjid, don't work in a masjid that has a single step, because like vacuum cleaners can clean actually one step. Vacuum cleaners cannot climb steps now. So go to a masjid that has a double steps, because then like the vacuum will not go up and clean, and the masjid will not want to buy like 2 vacuum cleaners. So just to give you some small examples, like just look at your job. You yourself just decide it, what is repeating here, what is not repeating. Another advantage is you can build the AI that will do all of what is repeating. And then you can become the owner of that company. AI would take away a lot of jobs, but it will create, so this is the second part I didn't say, it will create a lot of new jobs. Is anybody here a nurse? Nurse? Anybody here a nurse? Anybody works in the hospital here? A nurse? Nurse, yes. So there is maybe a lot of things a nurse does every day that's repeated. But how many of us know about it? Not a lot of us. So one nurse will be like, okay, I will build an AI system that will replace all of this because I know about it. Okay, maybe some 10 nurses will lose their job, yes, but that one nurse will have become a boss of that company. And those maybe 9 other nurses, they will go and take a course, and then they'll do another thing. So you, in your own job, you can begin to do something. Don't think about like it's going to be losing jobs. It's like you're going to move into another job. It's like typewriters, right? Like before, somebody will come to your office and you're talking and they're writing. Now we don't need that. But those people, they've gotten another job. And those people have gotten another job. So think about, that is the way I think about it. Think about the next level of the job. Because as long as we have to die, human beings will not want to die. So if we don't want to die, then we'll always try to think of what to do. So in the medical space, you think of something. So as long as human beings will have this thing that they want, which is to live forever, but they can't get it, we will always have some jobs to do. There will always be jobs. There will always be job. So just think about the next thing, yes.
Yeah, the question I asked you was deliberately. I was asking you that question because
Yes.
a lot of people are focusing only what AI will take.
Yes,
It's our job to find what AI can
yes,
replace in position of a human being.
yes.
For example, if I, let's say I'm a carpenter, all right?
Mhm.
I built something like, physical skills.
Yes.
That AI is a computer, most
Mhm.
of it. Like if I put a machine in a car to
Mm.
drive that car,
Mm-hmm.
it's a machine drivable machine.
Yes.
But now they're creating, technology otherwise like building buildings and doing
Mhm.
stuff.
Mhm.
We already know that. But it's still, that is skill, the manual labor skill that
Mhm.
you have is still needed somewhere.
Yes.
So, to be honest with you, like, there are a community that live in the United States.
Mhm.
I don't know if you know about them, they're called Amish.
Yes.
The way of their life, they actually avoid from technology.
Yes.
But they have everything they need within their community.
Yes.
So, as long as you can create something like that,
Yes.
you'll be able to survive.
Yes.
That's my point.
That's exactly the one line I want to talk about there, which is value creation. As long as whatever you're doing, you know where the value is in that job, you will be fine. So it's two messages. If you get like any message, is go home, look at your job, look at where is repeated there, and think of how you can use AI to replace what is repeated, and think about the next step. That's what you should be doing. So just like what the brother said, as long as you're creating value for somebody, you will get a job. That is like, you will find a new, like 10 years from now, there will be jobs that we didn't have today. It's like 10 years ago, there was like no like YouTube influencers, right? Like Instagram influencers, YouTube influencers. We didn't have all of those. Social media managers 20 years ago. Now people are making like millions just like doing social media management. So technology takes away jobs, but comes with new jobs. So I don't want anybody here to think of it in like a scared way. Now it's going to take away my job. Now I don't do anything. Now, actually, this is good. It's going to take away a lot of jobs. Good. What is the new job is going to give me? So now when we train these kids in our program, we're not training them to do my job in Microsoft now, no. We're training them to do the next job because they're just laughing and saying like, my job is gone. Like if anybody calls me and they're like, oh, Abdul, I want to become a data scientist, I'm like, just think of the next thing after that. So I completely agreed, but we have an advantage that whatever we are doing now, we know it very well. So look at your space and start from there. Take a lot of these AI courses and start growing from there. Open ChatGPT, play with it, and go from there. That is how I think things will go. And as Muslims, we shouldn't be scared. Our risk already is written. So our risk never came from jobs. Like, I left Microsoft like 6 months ago, but alhamdulillah, I'm still here today. So your risk is not your job. So don't let us also confuse those two. Just because you didn't have a job, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would feed you. So don't stress that part of what will I eat. Figure out a job, Allah has given you strength to do that. But your risk will come from Allah. More questions? It's 8 o'clock, yes.
I think it's not a question, but
Yeah.
As you said, the AI, it depends on what information you're feeding it.
Yes.
For example, a child who's born in the US,
Mhm.
who is, for example, confused of, like today, Christmas Day.
Yes.
Then I ask GPS this way.
Mhm.
Let's say I'm a child, because most of us we know, but if a child uses GPS and wants to ask, like, can I celebrate Christmas in the USA as a Muslim?
Yes.
Then GPS gives me the answer, yes, you can celebrate Christmas in the USA as a Muslim. And many Muslims do
Uh-huh.
in ways that align with their faith and values.
Uh-huh.
You see, sometimes it can be confusing because AI is giving me fatwa.
Yes. Go on.
So I don't know if you guys had. I said, for example, I'm a child who's born here in the U.S. I don't know what's happening. I'm hearing like, oh, Christmas is haram, it's halal. I don't know what's happening. Then someone introduced me GPS, and I want to ask a question. And I ask the question this way: can I celebrate Christmas in the USA as a Muslim? Then GPS is giving me this answer: yes, you can celebrate Christmas in the USA as a Muslim, and many Muslims do, in ways that align with their faith and values. Then there's so many things. Then it tells me how Muslims commonly approach Christmas in the USA. What is generally acceptable? spending time with family, friends, and neighbors, exchange goodwill, kindness, and gifts, attending community dinners and gatherings, decorate. So that's why sometimes it's like it's good to know what you're doing. It's not only like relying on GPS, because a child who's born here, let's say, and then heard of this and then ask that question, then this is the fatwa.
So this is exactly like, just one moment, sorry, just before you, see what I mean by go and play with this thing? This brother has played with it. Now, if your child comes to you and is explaining to you that I asked GPT about Christmas and he told me this, why won't you allow me celebrate it? Now, you've already played with it and you know the type of answer it gives. Now you know how to talk to your child. So this is like the second, I love this example he gave, because I'm sure like there's a lot of kids today who will be pressing this somewhere. But if we as parents are not asking, everybody go and actually ask and see how that will show. Because if your child wants to celebrate Christmas and you say no, it's going to ask ChatGPT, ChatGPT tells him the answer, he may not tell you and we just go out and celebrate it. Actually, I actually love this very much. If you use it, now you know the answer. Now you know how to talk to your family. Even though some Muslims are doing it, even though some Muslims might say it's okay, we as Muslims don't do this. You've already asked that question and you know the answer, and now you can talk to your family.
But again, also, it depends on how you. It also depends on how you frame the question. If, for example, I want to get the right answer, I can ask, as a Muslim, is celebrating Christmas haram or halal? So most likely, I will expect to get the right answer that Sheikh Abdul Bari will give it to me. But now I ask it in a way that is not clear.
Yes. Sorry, I think we have 3 hands up. There's a brother at the back. There's you, and there's this brother. Sorry. Yeah. Please, I'll come to you. Yes.
Yeah, actually, I just wanted to point out what the brother over there just pointed out. This tools of technology are sort of deceptions for the future of idealistic behavior.
Yes.
As Muslims, we know that whatever we're doing, it's supposed to align with Islam.
Yes.
But if it's not aligned with Islam and we're using the technology of the kuffar, or whoever created this, their intention is just to create a deceptive, like artificial reality. The word artificial has a long linguistic background. If you just say artificial, means artificial food. There are some foods that are artificial. To come into this point is just that I just want to point what he just did. Like he asked the question, and then it already told him that you can celebrate as Muslim. But so it's very important to know these things are telling, those artificial things are telling human beings are worthless. You have no more values. We can do whatever you were supposed to do. So that's also, you have to, as a human being, you have to stand up and find other ways of living your life. That's my conclusion. I just want to point that out. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
So actually, it's very interesting. While you're asking that question, this is another tool here. You can look at the screen. This is called usul.ai. This was built by some Muslim brothers, I believe. And now, what you want to see from here, I'm just going to show you one line from there. Key points from the sources inside. Muslims are not permitted to participate in Christmas celebrations. And this is considered a form of imitating non-Muslims in their religious rituals. This is another tool that then now you can use because you have seen that type of answer that you can get from a normal ChatGPT. So again, what I'm saying is when you see some of these problems, it's good that we are seeing it first and we are creating solutions to them. If you don't see these things, we will not know how to attack them. Now, you know, like that type of question, if your child comes to you, you know that, okay, one tool I've showed us today is usul.ai. You can use that, ask that question, and know how to talk to your child. So again, there will be a lot of issues with these tools. The thing is, the more we go into it, as adults, Muslims that have the knowledge and know what is bad and how to sort of get across it, the more we can correct other people. But if we don't use it, and our kids and their friends are using it, and their friends in school tell them all these things, then we will have a bigger problem. So don't let us have a bigger problem by starting to test it, playing with it, knowing how to fix it, and knowing how to talk to our children. That is what we have to do. Because if we leave it in the hands of other people, and we say like, this is not something I'm going to do, this is not something I'm going to play with, It's just so easy. Like, just open a page and talk to a system. Sorry, I'm talking too much. Yes.
I I actually used ChatGPT before,
Yes.
and I came across similar problem where the machine sometimes hallucinates.
Yes.
It gives you like an incorrect information.
Mhm.
Can you touch on a little bit what AI hallucination is, so everybody knows what?
So the brother is asking the question about like AI hallucination. What that basically means is that when AI gives you an answer that looks right, but to a human being it's not correct. So the thing AI does is that when it says good, let's say somebody wakes up in the morning, right? And they say good. What is the next word that's going to come? Morning. If you want to check on the other person, how, what is the next thing after how? Are you? When the person says I am, what is the next thing after that? Good. This is how AI responds to you. It's going to say, if I say this, what is the next likely thing to say? Then it says it. If I say this, when is the next likely thing to say? Then it says it. AI does not know, like we said in the beginning, it does not know whether it's telling you the truth or AI actually has no sense of what is right or wrong in like the human sense. Hallucination basically means that AI tells you something that looks correct, but when you check it, it's wrong. Yes. It's just basically responding to you based on the essence of the data it has. But it's not like sitting down and thinking like, let me tell this person the truth, let me lie to this person. You know, it's not like thinking like, let me tell you the truth, let me lie to you. It doesn't know what is true, what is wrong. AI hallucination is when it tells you like what this brother read to us, right? To a Muslim, that is like AI hallucination. It's just telling you something that looks correct, but it's not. So how do you know and deal with hallucinations so that's what my advice has been from the beginning. How you deal with hallucinations and how you know it is if you as an adult begin to play with it and you know all of these problems. So when your child comes to you or when you use it and you see that problem, you know how to fix it. But AI hallucination will not be like, oh, you know, read it, I'm like, oh, this is wrong. Some Muslims will read this and they'll be like, perfectly fine, actually. What the brothers, they'll be like, yeah, this is actually good. And somebody will read it, I'm like, subhanAllah, what is this? So again, that is where my premise is going. If we are not in these tools, learning them, you will not know what the hallucination is. And to the point of the brother, if 5 Muslims come here and they say like, oh, it's okay to celebrate Christmas, and everybody's saying yes. That's the problem we're going to get to because we're not playing with it and training our family about it. So if you get only one thing from my message today, there's a lot of problems with these tools, but the solution is to not run away from them.
Question.
Yes.
I asked ChatGPT.
Yes.
I need create a website for dry fruit shop.
Yes.
It gives me English language, and I mean Somali to English language.
Mm-hmm.
And do you want me to to give you as a Somali language? I didn't ask Somali language. I asked in English everything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So why that is coming by Somali?
If I understand what the brother is saying, is he's asking a question to ChatGPT in English, I believe, and somehow ChatGPT is trying to respond in like, asking him in like Somali. Are you saying that?
Yeah.
Can anybody answer that?
Yes. Because he uses
It's, so your personality on AI already can probably ask, if you go on back to ChatGPT and say, tell me about myself, I can actually do it here myself. Say, tell me about myself. That AI system has sort of learned so much about this brother that it thinks that anything he wants to do is probably like in Somali. Maybe every time he's working, say like, translate this to Somali, do this in Somali for me. So again, that's another part of the system. So you don't do that? Wow. So then now I don't know. So again, I might just come and say like, I don't know. Like that may be a question, I don't know the answer to that.
the device is using most of the search in Somali.
Maybe that could be.
It could be at the same, sometimes I've seen like if the settings of your device, it also works with your device.
Yes.
If you have Somali language in your device, that it sets whatever language compatible that you want to understand.
So that could be it. But if you still want that website, after we finish, you can come to me. I will make another one here for you to not say in Somalia.
So,
Yes.
I just wanted to, if it's okay, I just wanted to share a few things. I've been using AI from the very beginning, when AI first came out. I've used almost every type of GPU. I mean, AI that you mentioned, from Gemini to ChatGPT to DeepSeek, all of them. And I've tested different different AIs, especially when it comes to the deen, comes to fiqh. There is a lot, and I've tested it also with different languages. I've tested with English, Vietnamese, Arabic. So the different levels and the different developments and the different languages also are different. There are things that you can really benefit from, but then there are also things that will right now. If I'll give you an example. It'll blow your mind. For example, I asked ChatGPT for tafsir of a verse, and I didn't mention the verse. I just mentioned the number and the name of the surah. And you know what it did? It made up a verse in the Quran. So it made up the Quran, a verse in the Quran, and this was, I think I used Meta AI. I was using Meta AI. It says, and of course I'm doing this in Arabic. Yeah, in Arabic. In English, it's a lot more cautious, right? And in different languages, it just goes crazy. Yeah, different languages, especially less developed languages, because I was trying with Cambodian, Vietnamese, different languages, all the languages that I know. And so I'll give you the surah it gave. This is Surah Al-Mulk, right? Verse 9. It says, the verse is, يَقُولُونَ غُلِبَتْ رَوَاسِقُهُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ وَأَسْلَمَتْ طَائِفَةٌ مِّنْهُمْ وَمَا يَهْوِي إِلَى الْمُجْرِمِينَ. You know what that verse means? No, it's saying that this is Quran. That they say, okay, this is the verse. It's trying to go through the whole Quran and give a verse that's similar to, based on the same type I could see. Do you understand? But it's so off. Like, then you really realize, this is the miracle of the Quran. ChatGPT will never make anything close. You hear it and you're like, oh, it hurts. Like, a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. This is the Dajjal and shaitan right here. So this is the translation of the verse. They say, our hearts are hard and stubborn, and we are lost in the earth. And a group among them surrender to Allah, and whoever inclines to the criminals. Like, where's this verse? And so not only that, it gave me a tafsir. يقولون أي يقول الكفار عند سماع العذاب الذي حل بهم في الآخرة. So this is what the kuffar are going to say in the hereafter when they hear about the adhab. So, and then it gives you the whole tafsir of this verse that it just made up. Like, and this is, if you ask in English, you won't get it. And if you go to like ChatGPT and different, what I've realized, believe it or not, is the most trustworthy of ChatGPT when it comes to Islamic material is DeepSeek. All the American ones, they change they don't give you what it's supposed to be, especially in Arabic. It's twisting, and it's not really, because there's so much difference of opinion. It cannot give you a right opinion because it's confused. Because like you said, just because everyone believes that it's an opinion does not mean it's a correct opinion. And it doesn't have the proofs and so forth. And it also, what it does also, in English, the American ChatGPT or ChatGPT and others, when it's giving you a hadith, even in Arabic, it doesn't give you the exact wording. It's making up wordings of a hadith. And I go look for it, you'll never find that wording at all. You won't find it. And this is true. But what I found out that's very useful, that I use, if I have a lot of durus that I always, lessons that I always review. So I ask, what's the opinion of my sheikh so-and-so? And then it gives me the opinion, and it might be incorrect. Then I go, give me the source of where you got all of this from. Then I go to it, and that's what I use it for. I go to the original source where it got it from. Because it's trying to understand, and sometimes it understands incorrectly. And another dangerous thing with, especially with AI videos nowadays, I see a video of my sheikh speaking, Sheikh Uthaymeen. He's speaking, and that cannot be him. That cannot be what he said. It's not what he said, because I was there when he mentioned this hadith as being weak. How can he say that that's something that we should do? Like, I remember in front of him, sitting him, talking about the same topic, and he's saying the opposite thing, and I see his face, I hear his voice. I say, subhanAllah, that can't be him. But it could trick anyone to say Shaykh al-Uthaymeen gave another, he's promoting bid'ah, promoting this, and subhanAllah, and I was like, maybe he changed it. No, there's no way he changed his opinion. This hadith, everyone knows. He mentioned so many times. And so, but like I said, there in organization and things like that, it's very, very useful. When it comes to the deen, you have to understand also, like, even, the Yahud are also sometimes, they're spending money paying like ChatGPT to twist like the narrative also. So like you mentioned that those who have money may have power to do those things. So ChatGPT is very, 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 very useful in so many things. Honestly, like I said, if we don't, at the beginning, people are like, don't use YouTube, don't use this. When it first comes out, everybody's like running away from it. And like, this is, Facebook, facade book. Like, Facebook. Do you understand? But all your kids are on it. So give them the option, at least, to have material that's proper, da'wah. And so there should be a chat GPT, a Muslim chat GPT that will have the proper maybe Aqidah Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah also. And actually one of my friends in Belgium, he's working with the whole group, and they have started something like that, and he's working on that already right now. So I've had a little bit of experience with chat GPT, but what I found out is just looking at the sources, making sure where it got its source from. You can always ask and go straight to it. And then sometimes it's misinterpreting all of this together. And sometimes it just makes up stuff. Like I said, have you, you want to hear this, the verse again that I made up? Of the Quran? A'udhu billah. Like I made a screenshot of it. I have no idea. Like, and when you look at it, you can see that what it's trying to do. You can see if you listen to the Quran, right, and then you listen to you see what it's trying to do, but it can't do it, right? Because the Quran is a miracle. But you can see that, like here, يقولون غلبت رواسيقهم في الأرض وأسلمت طائفة منهم وما يهوي إلى المجرمين. Ya Allah, I can't even read that. Like, I can't even say it. Like, it hurts me to say it. No, it doesn't sound right. If you try to put tajweed with that, it would not work. It would not work. That again shows you the miracle of the Quran. That ChatGPT is able to read the whole Quran and try to imitate it, and it can't do it. And it can't do it. Like, and if you tell some ChatGPT, because you have to understand, I was. Because I've been using it since the beginning, and some of the things that I ask now, it won't answer. Why? Because there have been many people who have probably spoken, sent messages and like, hey, this is not something. So there are certain aspects of the deen it won't speak about anymore because of that. But when you go to some of the other languages, like Arabic, for example, sometimes just like I said, it just made up a verse. But if I went to it again, and if I ask differently, it will not give it to me that particular way. But if you don't ask for the verse. Just hear this one. Ask for the verse number and the letter. And I don't even want you guys to do that because it's just, a'udhu billah. It's like, yeah, somebody might read this and might think it's a verse of the Quran. Like people do. Yeah. If you don't memorize the Quran, like you read it, you know already. Anyone. Anyone who's read the Quran knows that this is not a verse of the Quran. Like, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us, may Allah guide us.
Jazakumullah khairan, Sheikh. I think this is just exactly like what we wanted to talk about. You see, if you get this example and you tell somebody, it's very easy to like talk about it now because there is an example. We will not find an example of what the Sheikh talked about if we don't use these things. And we will not have a way to guide ourselves and our families if we've not learned Islam and now we can use these things to do it. Running away from these tools is not the way. It's just exactly what the Sheikh has mentioned. When you play with it, now you know. Don't let your child be the first person to know. You be the first person to know and guide your child. And alhamdulillah, people have been building a lot of tools these days. Like one of the ones I mentioned, this is usul.ai. It's specifically for Muslims. There is ansari.ai. A lot of Muslims are already there. They're seeing the problems and they're building stuff. So like what the Sheikh said, immediately you find a problem, somebody will try to build and fix it. So we can also make those changes and go on. So it's only one thing I'm here to talk to us about today, honestly. I'm sure I took an hour and a half to talk about it. Play with it as Muslims. Guide your kids with it. Find programs for them to do. And let us be in front of this. So it doesn't become like the Facebook of yesterday or the social media of yesterday. And there's like just nothing we can do as Muslims. Jazakumullah khairan, everybody.
Brother Idris, we really appreciate you coming and enlightening us about AI. I know a lot of people, you hear about it only, but you never get to, you really use it. And a lot of people, usually come and ask me about certain things. And so sometimes, I've been, like I said, I've been playing with ChatGPT, but almost every ChatGPT almost available. I've tested it with different languages. And so just to let us know, that's all, that this is the future, actually. And there's so many things that it's very helpful. For example, if you want a resume, ya Allah, and you need a translation, like there's nothing better than AI when it comes to translation, live translation. I'm listening to a talk, somebody speaking Russian, and I have this on, and I make it translate live, and I'm listening to it, and it's translating live, and the translation, the English is like better than the person working at the UN. Like, no, I'm not even joking. The translation, and so when you're doing translations and you're doing this and that, it's very, 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 very beneficial. Very, very useful. Translation is one of the best you can use it for. Even if you have like a hadith, if it's translating into English, it's actually better. A lot of the translations are, but try with the different ones. The translations are really good, actually, with the translations of it. Because it's using that same hadith, and there are many translations that people have already translated that way. But it's not perfect. It's not perfect. There are certain translations, like, especially with Arabic, the old Arabic, especially classical Arabic. I was trying to put it in a hadith, and it's like, no, this is like, it's mixing up with modern Arabic, right? And so it's really off. Like, so it's still, you need, I'm not afraid that it's going to replace me in the imam or anything like that. Or anything like that through it. And may Allah protect us. But you can use it to help you with so many things. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, jazakumullah khair for everything. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us and our families and bless us. Inshallah. Inshallah, again, remember we have a lot program tomorrow, starting tomorrow. We have Sheikh Khalid Green giving the khutbah. Then we have 3 lectures after Maghrib, inshallah. Sheikh Ali Grad will start with his regular Somali language, and then we have 2 English lectures, Sheikh Kyle, and Sheikh Khalid Green will be giving tomorrow also, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. All the programs start after Maghrib, and also after Fajr, we also have a lecture every time and breakfast for Saturday and Sunday, inshallah. We will pass out the program schedule tomorrow, inshallah. So you have all the list of lectures after the Jum'ah, the khutbah, inshallah, you'll get, inshallah. And if you're on the website, the WhatsApp group, inshallah, I will send it out. We'll send it, inshallah. Yeah, and I think there's not a lot of people who are training in those languages, so it's like a what do you call it? Not natural, like old, where everything is not corrected yet. So like see with the Arabic one, see that if I were to ask this, give me a tafsir of this verse, and I would give it the verse. The other the other places were okay, and then I got to this one. Just gave me made up a verse. And if you ask it to make up a verse, it won't do it. Yeah. But you know, it's the chat GPT as or AI is as useful and beneficial and as correct as the teacher teaches or the training the person and the people training with the resource they give. For giving you for coming gifts.
But you can easily see, people asking about that, or not even asking, or someone who's over-manic, or oh, I need that. And share this secret.
40 minutes, 30, 40, 50, somebody may want to go 45 minutes, not rather than 30. 30 is nothing. 30, how you gonna bring a big talk? So that's why I had to change everything. Like, we changed the timing and everything. And it's difficult because people are going to come and English and this is Somali. It's going to break. That's the thing. Yeah, it's the difficult part. He gets English fine. So I went to him, he gets English.
Watch, prepare you to go.
Yes. Or I said, okay, you can't be alone. Can we just speak in Somali and English together?
Yeah.
This is regarding business transactions.
Yeah, yeah.
So I tried everything. Yeah. So the only way I could, I have remarkable. The only way that I can do now. This is so important. But I'm going to. This is so important. So we all, I'm gonna put my phone there. We don't. You and let it translate to English. Oh. Yeah. Hey, why don't you try speaking Somali right now? And
AI says I cannot do that. Come to us and can you please just go and say no, I cannot. It is impossible to do for us. Really. Yeah, but can you do Bible? Yes. Bible of AI, China, don't just do it.
You can kind of tell about the developers and such as that have a little one night on it.
Please translate all of this to English for me.
Of course, just let me know what to.
Yeah, they're going to be speaking in Somali.
Got it. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and share the text or let me know what you'd like translated.
maanta waa maalintii jimcaha ee aanu af soomaaliga wacdiga ku bixin jirnay.
Can I have a live translation of this lecture right now to English from Somali?
Volkan, heads up. All right, I'm ready now. Whenever you are, just let me know the content. Sounds good. Whenever you're ready, just let me know and we'll get started.
maanta waa maalintii jimcaha ee aanu af soomaaliga wacdiga ku bixin jirnay.
Which program do you use to do translation?
Oh, there's a lot of programs.
That are
But I'm
good
trying to
for
find what's the
translation.
best one. I use the other one. Let me see. Can I have a live translation of this?
Yeah.
Just let me know whenever you have the content ready and I'll translate it into English for you.
maanta waa maalintii jimcaha ee aanu xasuusin jirnay wacdiga af soomaaliga ku baxay.
do you want me to translate this lecture right now from Somali to English?
Yeah.
No, no, there's, I know, I forgot what I used. So I'm trying to figure out. When I figure it out, and then I'll put it.
I think that this thing just you go live like Amish. That's it. I love the life of Amish. The life. If I want to go tomorrow, I go tomorrow. If they can handle, I go tomorrow.
I mean, the biggest flaw with most of these things is that we become using the pressure. We have a hard time functioning without it. We think we use our power for a couple hours, and how many times have we thrown it in the light switch? That way, in the truck.
Okay, I move. Let me fall down. Let me hospital. No, nothing here. I don't know that. Musa. Good. Good. No, not good. Nobody go there. Okay. Musa. I think maybe he went hospital. Musa.
He lost it. Because he thinks he don't come. He don't come.
No, he came Asar time.
Asar time he come.
Tomorrow he gone.
Asar time he come. Then he go it. Then he go it.
I know.
Don't.
Sister called with Musa. His sister called. Somebody told me. One brother told me. Said Musa's sister came to say with Musa. I hate him because he doesn't listen.
Wallahi. That's down.
Go in the corner. To the street.
No, because he hate he's not looking people. Listen.
He can go here.
This is the drugs.
No, he can go here. He can go to the.
No. He going, wallahi, he passed the way, you know, the hotel over there. He bad, he using. That's why he don't stay house. He don't stay house. He don't stay the place. He don't only this one.
I don't know what happened.
My friends, with Musa, you know, he ugly, he stay. Then he going, he ugly, then he stay. You know, the people who poop, people who know this one, everything is he lying. You understand? Musa, he lying. We needed this food, he needed the bread over there. The coffee, you ask Musa, bring in here, put it over there. No, see. Lie. You No. You sit down. What are we doing?
Somebody left this one. I was gonna put this in. Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Morning, he can't be able to eat. Oh, you're right.
That one is the new one. These two, somebody drunk, so I was gonna use it to water the plants. Oh, okay.
Right. Tomorrow the Juma. Tomorrow is Juma, right? He will stay here.
You call this one Boro or Mendazi?
He will stay here.
Same thing?
He will pray here.
Boro and Mendazi, same thing?
But that's you take.
No, okay. Do you call this Boro also? What do you call this one?
What's the name? Bor or
Oh,
Mendazi?
Bur.
What's
Somali.
Mendazi?
Somali, Mendazi.
Mendazi?
Yeah,
Oh,
two
so-
names is Mendazi.
No, two name or one name? Bor or Mendazi? Which
No,
name?
no, Bur, the means he making Bur.
You make it Boro.
But the name
Bur
Mendazi.
is the big, the
Khamir.
too much.
Okay.
breeze,
Yes.
pasta, like this one, bowl. Bowl is steam
Wheat, like a flour.
flour. Oh, that's the bowl.
Bur
Okay,
is
this
flour.
one, has
Mandazi. Okay, okay. Because I heard.
sometimes he call it, oh, hey, bowl, I need the bowl.
Yeah.
Bowl.
Whose bag is
Then
that?
he say like this one.
Oh, okay.
Then no regular.
Not regular.
Bag is that? This is the bag that belongs to the belly?
I think so. Yeah, that was up above.
Very, he forgot. I know. No worry.
Let's go, let's go.
Morning he come. Hey,
Yeah, everybody go.
the food for the Musa.
Yeah.
In
Put
the
outside.
table.
Yeah,
Take it, put it down. Yeah.
And this
No living.
this one is Musa. Is Kufi.
No. Which one?
Who's Kufi?
Huh?
What's that? This Kufi?
I don't know.
Coffee?
Yeah. Is that
Who?
Musa?
No. Oh, coffee.
Yeah, Kufi.
Coffee, the Musa. Eh?
That's Musa.
This Musa.
Where is Musa? He
I
got
don't know.
he got a bride already, or he left?
No, I think
He left it.
I think he ended up in the hospital.
Now,
Because what happened, someone told me when I was giving tea, he said Musa's sister, I was here looking for Musa. Because he left Maghreb, time before Maghreb, and then he would walk out